An intention challenge is a little intention experiment for all of my followers to show you how consciousness actually works and to give you essentially a kind of informal scientific evidence, as I've been gathering since 2007, that thoughts are things that affect other things. So I have one every month and I announce it in the beginning of every month. And my challenge is for all of you to try it out there. They're very easy challenges. Some involve other people, some involve things around you. And there's a place on my website under free tools where you can post your results, your photos, your descriptions. We've had that so far, and we've just been doing it for a few months. But this month, because it's summer and there's lots of plants growing and everybody is outdoors, I thought I would give you a little intention challenge. And I've been doing this all through July for seeing if you can make a plant grow faster. Let me tell you the background of this intention experiment. In 2007 and 2008, I ran a series of 6 intention experiments with the University of Arizona and the laboratory run by the noted psychologist, Dr. Gary Schwartz. We did a very scientific experiment. We took 4 sets of 30 seeds each, and one was to be the target, one the control, and the rest the controls. But the scientists did not know which ones we were going to choose each time. And I ran this experiment 6 times with 6 different types and sizes of audiences. In some instances, they were live audiences. I did it, the first one, in Sydney, Australia, with an audience of about 700. I did another one at a retreat in Rhinebeck, New York, with an audience of about 120. I had one in Austin, Texas. I had one in South Carolina with a bunch of healing practitioners, one in California, and one live over the internet with my followers on my website. So of those 6, each time we ran it the same way. We did intention to one set of seeds. We didn't tell the scientists which seeds they were. After we finished, I told them, we're done. Now plant all 4 sets of seeds and measure them 5 days later. So they did that exactly each time. And believe it or not, every single time, the seeds sent intention grew significantly higher than controls. Now, remember, the scientists did not know which ones we sent intention to. I only told them which ones after they'd finished up their measurements. Then I would tell them, well, it was group A or it was group D. And also, we were sending intention to a photo of the seeds, not even the seeds themselves, because I was always thousands of miles away, and so were my audiences. For instance, with Sydney, Australia, I was there with that audience of 700. The seeds were sitting back in Tucson, Arizona, 8,000 miles away. So all we were doing was sending intention to a photo of the seeds, a symbolic representation of the seeds. Nevertheless, we had a significant effect, so much so that Dr. Schwartz presented our results at a scientific conference, and they were published in the papers there too. Now, Dr. Schwartz tried something also a little informally. Afterwards, he had regular work at a particular spa place where he gave lectures in Arizona. So he decided to do intention for one side of the garden and not do intention for the other side. And he wrote me to say, you wouldn't believe it. And he showed me a photo of one side of the garden was just blossoming and blooming, and the other side was doing okay, but nowhere near as much. So that's the intention challenge I want to give you. I want to show you viscerally how well intention works. to give you the confidence to try it in other places in your life. So here's a simple way to do it. Get hold of two similar plants. I've got two plants. I like purple, as you can see. I got two sets of plants with about the same flowers or buds, and I was careful to count them. So what you do is you send intention to one. Over the next few weeks, let's say, do a little intention every day, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. Now, after you're done, after those few weeks, see if this one is doing better than this one. Now, don't worry, you're not neglecting this plant, because after you finish with this, you can reverse the process in doing an intention for this. But it's just to give you a sense of how powerful your thoughts are. They're little trespassers who can affect other people and other things. And when you do your intention, let's just hold on to this one for a bit. You do a very specific intention. Count up all of the buds, or if you're doing an intention with a plant, now here's one of my house plants. If you're doing an intention for a plant, you can just count the leaves or count the new leaves coming out and see if you affect them. It's really ideal to have two plants that are very similar, because then you can really test them out. So count the number of buds or the number of flowers and do an intention to sprout X more buds. Let's say 3 or 4 more buds in the next week or the next few weeks, depending on how fast this plant grows. And then observe the other plant and see if this grows more flowers or more buds. So it can be for more flowers, more buds, more leaves, more new leaves. Be as specific as you can. Your intention statement should go a little bit like this. My intention is for this plant, and if you can name it, that's great, to grow at least 4 new buds by X date, by the second week of August, or you can even say by August 15th. And after your intention, and do it every day, every few days, go to the plant, do an intention over it. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. And then at the end of that time, count the number of buds. Remember, you've counted them before, or you've counted the number of leaves before very carefully. You've counted the other ones, buds and leaves, and see if the growth rate for the one you did intention for is faster than the other. You can also just see how well it's blooming as a plant. As I say, when you do your little experiment and you're finished, then just focus on the other plant, just to give it a little boost too. So here's how you do it. You take a few deep inhales, and you can do this by yourself, or you can do it in a Power of 8 group. Take a few deep inhales, a deep inhale, a deep exhale. That could be about for 4 seconds for each inhale. Inhale, exhale. So do about 3 or 4 of them. That will settle you, settle your autonomic nervous system, and then hold the following intention. My intention is that, name the plant, my purple flowering plant, sprout at least 4 buds by the second week of growing. And it can be that, it can be 5 flowers, it can be 10 flowers, whatever, but be specific and make sure it's not a ridiculous thing like, I want it to grow 5 feet in 2 weeks. Take that down to your heart, send it out to the plant, just focus on the plant, and focus in your mind's eye very carefully about that plant having all those extra buds or all those extra leaves. See it in your mind's eye. Really, really clearly. Send it out to the plant. Ideally, you'll do it for 10 minutes. That's what I usually tell my intention students to do, at least 10 minutes. That's what we've done with all of our 41 intention experiments to date. And as you probably know, 37 of them have shown measurable, positive, mostly significant effects. So you send it out for 10 minutes if you can hold it that long. If you can't, start with 5 minutes, and then you can move from there. Remember, your focus will be on the wording itself, the thought of that intention, but also the visualization of it actually happening, seeing the final result, this glorious flowering plant or a plant with huge leaves now and amazing growth. So just imagine that. And after you've finished, if you've had some interesting experience with it, some success or questions, go on my website, lynnmctaggart.com, go under free tools, and then click on Intention Challenge. And there's a part at the bottom where you can write your experiences, even post a photo. So I'd love to see that and see how you're doing. Now, we've done a different kind of intention challenge this month. Some of the other ones we've focused on people you're not getting along with, or people who have different beliefs than yours. And next month, we're going to look at taking down the heat from the American election. We're also going to focus with an intention challenge on doing intentions for the other side. I have a big intention experiment that I'm going to run. I believe it's on August 20th. So if you're not signed up to my website, make sure to do so, and you'll get all the information about how to join us. We'll have thousands of people doing intention to calm American election and to have an ideal result in a peaceful and calm way. And also, we'll be intending to bring America together to try to create unity in that very polarized country. So before I leave you and have you do this intention challenge, if you have any questions, I can take them from the people who are on this Zoom call. If any of you on YouTube or Instagram have any questions, just write them and we'll get to them. And the next time I'm live, I'll be talking to you about them. I'll be answering those questions. So this is going to be regular occurrences, asking you to carry out some intention challenges, sharing with you some things that are happening with intention that I observe with my students, any little tips I can relay to you. And this is part of a number of free events that I'm offering for my community. That intention experiment on August 20th will also be free. It'll be live, and we'll also be live streaming it. And as always, all of my intention experiments are live. So let's see some questions. Let's see if anybody has put a question or put something in the chat. Let's have a look. So Stephanie asks, daily intention for plants. In the masterclass, you mentioned to let the intention go and not repeat. Please clarify. Thank you. Okay, that's a good question, Stephanie. Now with this one, we're trying to look for an immediate outcome. So it doesn't have to be daily. It can be every few days, but you're not doing it with your group, which tends to supersize it. This is something alone. So you can do it. You can even do it once a week. There's nothing that says, there's no prescription for saying it has to be exactly this number. But I think when people have a plant and they're trying to do something like this, then it behooves them to do it a few times a week, even daily. Then they can start seeing some results with something where we're looking for actually a scientific outcome. When we've done this experiment with Dr. Schwartz, we did it once each time. So it's not strictly necessary, but it's, again, as I say, this is a fun challenge, and it's not what we do in crew life. Okay, somebody else has asked about accessing the community page using different usernames and passwords for no avail, emailing for support. We had a problem with our community site, a little glitch that happened for a short while. We got 2 web people onto it, and I am assured that the website and the community site work perfectly now. So give it a try again. Any problems? Go to info@lynnmctaggart.com and we'll help you out. We'd love you to be part of the groups, and you can join a group by just coming onto my website on my community page and just saying, hey, I'm in this time zone. Anyone else want to form a Power of 8 group too? Okay, let's see if we've got any other questions. Okay, we're only 6 in our group. Most sessions, there are only 3 or 4 of us in the Zoom call. Can it work essentially? Well, it can, absolutely. I find that 3 or 4 is a very small number for a group, but if you're well practiced, it can work. I've had people where it's just 2 or 3. Ideally, it's 5 or more, but it doesn't have to be 8. It can be 5, it can be 12. 8 is that Goldilocks figure, where it's not too big, it's not too little. But I think that it's better to have 5, but it can work. Okay, let's see what else we have. If you have questions, it helps even more to put them in the Q&A. I'm just checking through the chat. Okay. And wow, we've got people from all over the place, which is fabulous. Can everyone please mention where you're from? Would love to have a group here in Northern California. Well, if you want to create any groups on my chat while we're doing this, please do so. Same thing with Instagram. Please mention that, or YouTube, probably even better. Okay. Okay, here's somebody who is Alex saying they have a Power of 8 group with Seattle, Oregon, and San Francisco, Idaho, and Florida represented, meeting Thursdays at 6 p.m. So have a write in the chat if that fits for you. Please do an intention experiment on opening the dialogue with people who do not believe in these intentions, says Sylvie, like our family members. I think I have a fairly strict rule, which is you don't do intentions for people who don't want them. People have agency, and I try to respect that. What you can do is do an intention for yourself, Sylvie, to provide information that will be heard by your family. So it sends the intention to you, not to them. Kathleen says, after the intention process, do we thank the universe, send out light and gratitude? It's not necessary, but you can always do that. You can always say, I mean, again, a lot of my work is about people in groups. So they're just letting go of the process and trusting the process. That's a big thing. What do we do if our intention doesn't materialize, says Anna? That could be very demotivating. Well, in my courses, Anna, I teach about how to break it down. It's more than I can just tell you now, but I show people how to break it down, what to do if intentions don't initially work, how to get over negativity, self-doubt, all of that. Okay. Do you have to send the intention love, or is curiosity enough? I think you have to send it from your heart, Petra, who asked that question. You don't have to mention love. You just send it from your heart. You're sending love. And that's, again, something I teach in my classes. Okay, let's see. Does it have to be one intention, growing buds, or can we do two intentions, keeping leaf-eating things away, insects away? You can do that intention instead. It can be anything like that, but do it one at a time, Ingrid. Okay. Anyone want to start a group in France? Right. And okay. No, okay. Let's see. Okay, now let me just quickly go through the Q's and A's. Can you have multiple intentions at the same time? Nadine asks. Yes, you can, but don't do them at the same time. Don't put them all into one intention. Can we do an intention for someone else, says FB? Yes, if they agree to it, unless they are a small child or somebody in a coma. I'm a musician. I need to clear tinnitus, which limits me. How do I create the experience of no sound in my ears when I'm hearing sound in my ears 24/7? We've cleared that, Ethan, with Power of Eight groups. Have the group do an intention to heal your tinnitus. How can I intend for diminishing pain of a chronic migraine? Being specific, but not too specific. It's since I realize it's not adaptive for me to say my pain. No, you just say, you use a positive word. My intention, or the group, our intention is for Pat to be immediately, completely, and permanently healed of chronic migraine so that she's healthy and well in every way. So you're not saying my pain, and it's okay to say pain as long as you say healing pain. That is an urban myth that you can't mention what you want to intend for. Do we end the Power of Eight session with gratitude? I answered that, I think. Would heart breathing be maybe worth doing before setting the intention? Not necessary. You can do something very simple, as I've talked about. I find in our work, we've had specific brainwave patterns that show up in Power of Eight groups that are almost antithetical to a lot of other technologies like meditation. So I always recommend, Raman, that everybody follow my technique. And the best tips for powering up before 10 minutes of intention work, I think I've gone through some specifics. You can, if you sign up for my website pack, you get some basics about doing intention in a group or by yourself. And you can read my book, The Power of Eight, or even better yet, join one of my courses. But it's seemingly simple, but it requires just certain kinds of techniques. Okay, everybody, that's about it for today. Thank you for all of your great questions. I saw a few said something about people trying intention or trying intentions, even in our intentions of the week, not being healed. If you talk about specific people, we can break down some of those intentions. That's what I find usually works better. When people have complex problems, we can break it down into stages, into finding the right diagnosis, the right practitioner, the right types of medicines to heal that person, and so forth. So thank you all for listening. It's been a real pleasure being here with you. We're going to sign off now, but remember, you can post all of your results with this intention on my free tools section of my website under Intention Challenge, lynnmctaggart.com. Show me what's happened. I'd love to have your feedback. I'd love to have your feedback here too on any of these channels, and I hope to see you soon. I'll be doing lives regularly, so please join me. Thanks so much now.